Hi, I'm Jory, and in this video, I will be talking about a divine love union or twin flame union, twin flame connection between two souls. If this video resonates with your relationship or things that you have experienced in your life, then you are likely to have been experiencing or are experiencing a twin flame connection. I am channeling this information as well as speaking from experience about what I've experienced in life and love. So, I would also like to say that I am speaking on a union between two female twin flames. So this is a topic that is not often discussed, or I don't often see when twin flames are being discussed. When I am researching and looking online and seeing what other people have been experiencing in their twin flame experience, I don't see a lot of lesbian twin flames. So I'm glad to be one who represents and can speak on and speak to this kind of twin flame union and connection and experience. So before I begin, I will drink some of my water. Now that I've drunken some of my water, I feel refreshed and ready to begin this reading. I am recording outside, so if you hear any sounds in the background, just disregard those sounds and try to focus on the reading as much as possible. I do enjoy recording outside, especially when there's not a lot of activity, so like in the early morning or late at night, because I get to kind of look at nature, be surrounded by nature while I'm speaking, which is very grounding for me and allows me to connect more deeply with my spirituality and my soul. Not that recording indoors is necessarily bad. However, recording outside is a different experience that I love. I also love recording indoors. So when I just have space to myself, it's always good to have when I create. So on that topic, the topic of having space to create, I can speak to divine feminine's experience of having this space within the connection to really self-reflect, to really go within themselves and build a deeper connection with themselves, get to know themselves better, get to heal on a deeper level, get to be in touch with oneself in a deeper way than if they were in physical contact with their twin flame, and really focusing on the physical relationship, how they might be acting around their twin. I feel that during this time of having space, which may be a long period of time, Divine Feminine may have had this space, or a short period of time, Divine Feminine may have had this space. But during this time of us, now I'm speaking to my experience, during this time of us having this space, there has been a lot of emotions that have come up, especially toward the idea of separation and toward the idea of not being physically together, which is not necessarily a happy thing for this Divine Feminine, because they really value and appreciate and love the presence of their twin flame. And in the presence of their twin flame, they have found life to be more vibrant, more alive. Life is more alive when they're in physical proximity, when they're in the presence of their twin. Their twin's presence makes their soul light up in a way no one else, no place, no anything ever could. And so this Divine Feminine doesn't necessarily isn't so excited about being in separation, or this perceived separation, or being not in physical union or not in the physical presence of their twin for a long, long time. Yet in having this space, Divine Feminine has been able to come into deeper oneness with themselves. And this in turn allows them to come into deeper oneness with their twin, because they are essentially connected at the soul level, at all levels. So there really is no separation, and there really is no time apart in the 3D physical idea of being apart, though these two might be physically apart. So this Divine Feminine has been building and cultivating a higher frequency of spiritual oneness within. And this space and this going in and this deep meditation and deep healing has awoken this Divine Feminine, into this level of authenticity that came about from deep heartbreak about perceived separation and maybe past wounding from really denying or not respecting this twin flame connection in the way that they should have respected this twin flame connection. What I am trying to say here is this heartbreak, this space has forced or guided divine feminine to come face to face with the reality, the real emotions and feelings, really how they felt within themselves about this twin flame connection. They, in the past, may have been one to distract themselves with things they thought were important in life or thought that would matter in this twin flame connection in life, such as social status or achievements that really weren't soul aligned, but that were in the 3D sense highly notable. And divine feminine may have thought that achieving certain things in life and being a certain way would bring her closer to her twin flame. And I said in the past, I want to not say in the past, I want to say a less realized, a less awakened version of themselves, divine feminine, try to connect with and probably control this union, this connection, by controlling and being highly focused on how they were perceived in society by not only their twin flame but by others as well. Maybe they were concerned with living up to other people's expectations of what they should be, what they should have accomplished by a certain time. Maybe they were following generational kinds of patterns that weren't really aligned with what they felt and needed on a soul level. And also at the same time trying to do things that this less awakened divine feminine thought their twin flame would approve of and see as respectable and would love them more for doing, when in reality all of this trying to be someone that this less awakened divine feminine thought their twin flame would find attractive move them further away from their own soul. And so move them further away from their twin flame connection and their authentic self. This less awakened divine feminine may have thought she was doing what needed to be done in order to bring into fruition this divine love union. In doing so, this divine feminine most likely had to not feel their own emotions so they could continue to achieve what they thought would bring them closer to their twin. This divine feminine, unawakened, felt like they weren't enough, felt like their twin flame would not be satisfied with who they were just as they were before they achieved certain things and before they went on this quest to find themselves and alter themselves and become someone different from what they were, from who they were. And this divine feminine, this awakened divine feminine now understands that this too was a part of the journey to coming home to her soul, to coming home to their own light and appreciating who they always were, seeing within that version of themselves that seemed unready, unprepared, unsuited for this twin flame, for their twin flame, and realizing that their soul all along was ready and is ready to love their own soul, which happens to be their twin flame, the one they tried so hard not to lose, and in doing so lost themselves and their twin flame as well in the whole process. This divine feminine is not reminiscing on what happened back then, because they know even in that happening, those things happening, they still are finding their way back to this connection, to this divine love union, to this deeper oneness with their own soul, and so this deeper oneness with their twin flame. And this is all they wanted the entire time. They just didn't know how to get here. They didn't know what they needed to do, or they didn't know how to go about doing what they intuitively knew, what their soul knew they felt, how they felt, because they always have felt how they feel for their twin flame, their soul, their heart. And so while in hermit mode, while in deep self-reflection, this divine feminine has reconnected with her soul. And this hasn't been over a period of a few days. This has been this deep self-reflection, this deep healing has been really going on for a long time, ever since this divine feminine realized that nothing that they've done in life has been what they needed and desired and really loved. Nothing that they have done amounts to this soul connection, to simply existing and having inner peace. And all this didn't take doing something, achieving something. All this took was letting themselves feel what they were feeling, what they are feeling. All this took was honest communication, connecting with their soul, connecting with who they really are, and not only that, but embracing who they really are, not trying to hide from whatever they are feeling, whatever they felt, whatever they wanted to say and want to say to their twin flame. This divine feminine is in a space where they have burned every bridge to any other timeline, meaning there is no one they're interested in connecting with besides their own soul, their authentic self, their twin flame. They don't desire any life, any achievement, now that they have come into this level of authenticity within themselves, and getting here is not really a here, but a constant meditation and centering and existing in the present moment, and constantly doing that inner work to clear anything that may block this kind of inner peace that allows divine feminine to be soul connected in such a way that keeps them grounded in the authentic, high vibrational, high frequency version of themselves. And this is the type of inner work this divine feminine is committed to, because she is committed to this soul connection with herself and so with her twin. Divine feminine sees all of this going together, because as divine feminine meditates and comes home to her soul, herself, her inner light, the more she deeply heals, the more insight, spiritual insight, the more visions and dreams she receives about their twin flame. The more divine feminine connects with her own soul, the more this divine love union is her vision, is her dreams. Just last night, this divine feminine had 2 dreams that were very intense and very vivid, very affirming and confirming of this twin flame connection, this deeper soul level connection that exists in a space of unconditional love and light, exists in a space that only your 2 hearts can access. These dreams and visions for divine feminine are different from before, in that before, the dreams and visions around this twin flame connection were as if divine feminine were looking into a future present moment, a future now, and these future nows seemed more distant than the dreams and visions that she has most recently received, the spiritual insight they've most recently have been provided with from spirit, from divine, were and are confirmations of a present now that is more present. This present now is closer than dreams this divine feminine has received and been provided with from divine before. This present now is not so much so distant. This present now is so close that this divine feminine could feel the visions and dreams, could feel the groundedness of the reality that was and is being shown, that is being provided by divine. I mean, these dreams and visions, these two dreams specifically, were so intense that after having the first dream, I was like, whoa, okay, that was for sure confirmation. Thank you, divine. Thank you, divine. Thank you, spirit. Thank you. And I'm not even saying these dreams are sexual. I'm not even going to give away too much about these dreams because I feel they are special insight that is currently working into the reality. So I'm just gonna not give details about these dreams, but I'm not saying that they're really intense sexually. I mean, they're intense like I couldn't tell if I was physically with my twin or if I was communicating with them in my dream state. This is gonna go off tangent a little bit, but I actually think this is all a dream. We're incarnated into these bodies and we are dreaming this reality. We are creating this reality with our minds as a part of the source. Okay, back to what I was talking about. That first dream was very vivid, intense, and felt real in the sense that my eyes weren't closed. I was awake. I guess I could say I was awakened spiritually on deeper levels by this dream. And I had this dream because of my twin flame inspiring me to call all my energy back to me, reclaim my light, do that inner work of deeply healing, do that inner work of coming home to my soul, burning bridges, relinquishing access to my energy, my inner light, to any and everyone. After waking up from the first dream, I went back to sleep and had this second dream. Divine provided this second dream specifically for my twin flame to let me know that everything is mutual. Of course, this dream vision is also for me What I'm saying is that this dream really focused on how we actively communicate our feelings to each other in life. I said I wouldn't go into deeply describing what happened, so I hope that gives enough context to know that